You know what this represents?
Tell us, sir.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm.
What's the storm?
Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm?
We have the world's great military people in this room, I will tell you that. And we're have a great evening. Thank you all for coming.
What storm is it, President?
You'll find out.
President Trump now says he considers himself a wartime president because of the coronavirus. Last night, he signed a $100 billion emergency aid package into law.
We will stop at nothing to protect the health of New Yorkers and the health of the people of our country in their hour of need. If you are from the New York metropolitan area and you travel elsewhere, we need you to self-quarantine for 14 days to help us contain the spread of the virus. And I am now considering, and we'll make a decision very quickly, very shortly, a quarantine, because it's such a hot area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. We'll be announcing that one way or the other fairly soon. And with the grace of God, we will win this war, and we will win this war quickly with as little death as possible.
These men and women were quite literally called up a few days ago, came from hospitals all over the state of California and the region, and came together under the order of President Donald Trump. And I want to just thank the President personally on behalf of a grateful region, on behalf of a grateful state, for sending this ship and the incredible resources that reside within this ship to the state of California. Could not have happened soon enough, and it would not simply have happened without his support.
Governor Gina Raimondo shouldering a binder packed with paperwork as she headed into her office Friday to continue Rhode Island's battle against coronavirus.
I have spent last night reviewing all of our executive orders and all of our regulations.
The ban on gatherings of 10 or more and the shutdown of dine-in restaurant service both extended to April 13th. The order for arriving travelers to self-quarantine locked in through April 25th. With New York the epicenter of the outbreak, Rhode Island State Police now stationed at the border to flag down cars with New York plates. And this weekend, the National Guard will go door to door, in coastal communities to track down anyone who's arrived from there. Raimondo defends the extreme measures.
I don't like those optics. But I'll tell you the optics that I like even less. The optics of Rhode Island Hospital bursting at the seams, not being able to take care of all the patients that we have.
Pretty serious when you know the National Guard, the Texas National Guard, that they're heading out to neighborhoods in the Dallas area. You know, Dallas is also a stay-at-home city. That was the order that was issued. The Dallas County Judge, Clay Jenkins, says he's sending out the Texas National Guard on a medical mission. And so what that means is they're going door to door to see who may have come in contact with a coronavirus patient. The judge stressed this is the guards will not be there for law enforcement reason.
That's true, Elizabeth, and good evening from New Orleans. Here, the police and the National Guard find themselves in a very difficult position tonight to try to carry out an order to force people from the city without actually using force.
Today in New Orleans, they got a lot tougher on the holdouts.
Police department, anyone home?
Not only the flooded areas, but New Orleans' driest and wealthiest neighborhoods, too.
Police department!
The police and National Guard going street by street, house to house.
We need to make sure, too, that whenever we knock on doors, people refuse to leave. We need to make note, call it in.
They say there are no orders to use force, just strong persuasion, sometimes entering open houses with guns drawn. and instructions to disarm anyone inside.
You say guns will be taken. No one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
That happened today in this wealthy neighborhood where homeowners had armed themselves to protect their mansions. Residents were handcuffed on the ground. In the end, police took their weapons but let them stay in their homes. For many of the police and guard troops, it is an uncomfortable job to do this in an American city. This guard unit occupied a church, using it as a base camp. They had to leave a note because they could not get hold of the pastor to get permission.
It is surreal. You never expect to do this in your own country.
Chris Montgomery says he'd rather be in Iraq than patrolling American neighborhoods.
Walking up and down these streets, you don't want to think about the stuff that you're gonna have to do if somebody pops around the corner.
Let me shoot in America.
Yeah.
Let me shoot in America.
Yeah.
Alright, if you went through that video, you kind of see some of the things that I put out there. I felt that it was very important to put some of these things out to kind of show you the direction in which we're heading. I'm not taking anyone's word. I'm looking at what the people themselves are saying. I'm not trying to force a narrative. I'm just telling you, you know, how this has happened before to us in the past and where we are now currently in regards to this situation with the coronavirus. I'm not here to change your mind. So if you think that this is necessary and we need to all be locked down in order for this virus to go away, then, you know, we won't be able to really reason on this. I would personally say that this is absolutely a violation of your First Amendment right now. I would urge everybody to go and look at their constitutional rights and understand what constitutional rights you have. Because even if and we've had pandemics before where everything was not shut down as it is now. And then if you look at what the flu is, the flu from what I've seen is on pace to right now in America alone on pace to kill 50,000 people. Yet the coronavirus, I think it's up to a little less than 300 or something like that is killed so far here in America. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that we should ignore, but I'm saying if we're going to shut down the government and we're going to shut down the economy for this virus, then we should have done this a long time ago. There are many different diseases and things out here that kill people daily by the thousands. Once again, my main concern is that we are moving into basically a military or police state, and that is not good. One of the reasons that they can impose some of these things on us is because they have declared this a war, an act of war in a sense, against the unknown or the invisible enemy, which is corona. But the problem with that is if you are during wartime, then guess what? Your rights no longer matter. You no longer have rights during times of war. So, you know, that's why, you know, they got the National Guard out going and supposedly knocking on people's houses and, you know, quarantining people and telling them that they have to go to, you know, back to their home state or, you know, whatever the case may be. I don't know if they're going to get to a point where they're going to take guns and stuff like that. But I mean, it's disturbing when you are invading someone's, you know, your property is supposed to be your private land. You shouldn't have to surrender your rights to the military or to the government as a result of something that may or may not affect you. You know, they even said themselves that, you know, most of the political leaders and even the people from the CDC themselves, the professionals say themselves that the virus poses very low risk. And I'm not saying that people are not dying from this, but I just think that we need to really, really wake up because once again, if we, and I've said this a few weeks back to a couple of guys I was talking to, I said, hey, we go to a point where they're going to shut everything down. I said, that's a bad place for us to be. And I'm going to sound alone because I don't agree with the way in which we are handling this. Once again, my heart just goes out to people who have been affected by this disease and everything. Like I said, I've talked to a couple of people, with one person in particular, one of my friends, and he knows people that have been affected by the coronavirus. And you know, like I said, my heart does goes out to them. But when you look at the impact that this is going to have, what it's already had on the economy and people losing their job. I mean, you know, churches are shut down. They're saying non-essential workers can go to work. Like, first of all, what classifies as a non-essential worker? If I need to provide for my family and I have a job that allows me to do that, based off what the government says, if my job is not deemed as essential, I shouldn't be going because I'm endangering others. You know, is the government going to come in at the end of the day and provide for me and my family with everything said and done? You know, like I do understand they sent out the stimulus little package, but that's not going to do much to really, you know, heal what is, you know, what all is really going on, or the amount of debt that people are going to get, you know, they're in as a result of not being able to work. And so I do want to encourage everybody to just stay alert, stay vigilant. There's a lot of things going on that are not making sense. I mean, I could talk about this from a number of different angles. I mean, you know, if you want to bring up, you know, things as far as like the CEOs leaving their jobs right before all this stuff happened, like it's just a lot going on that's not making a lot of sense. But you know, I'm going to end it there. What I would say is, if you're a Christian out there, I understand that they have shut down the churches and things of that nature, so we can't assemble as we, you know, once could. But the Bible is very clear in Hebrews. It says, "Forsake not the assembling of yourself together, as the manner of some is." And so, even that, coupled with the Constitution, which gives us the right to peaceably assemble, then we need to make sure that we are, you know, at least, you know, making the effort to be there for one another, because there's going to be a lot of damage done as a result of if this thing ever passes and we get back to being normal. You know, people are going to look at people differently. People are not going to want to be around people because they're going to think, oh, well, you could have something. I don't want to infect myself. And you know, we're going to look at each other as diseases, and that is not how God wants us to be. He wants us, if you know, Jesus was here, I believe he would want us out and saying about the city and things of that nature, still praying. I believe prayer still works. And so we just have to wake up, and we have to make sure that we're mindful of the things that are going on. Please keep this in mind, that the trick of the enemy is to get you to a point of paranoia, to where you're depending on something, you're reacting on fear, so you're not conscious of what it is that, you know, what's really necessarily going on. And I think most people are reacting to the fear mindset, that fear mindset, instead of really looking at this and saying, okay, hey, well, what is really going on behind the scenes? Because there's a lot of the stuff that's being rolled out, and we just got to be mindful. All right, but you know, you guys take care. Once again, I would love to, you know, be able to, you know, reach out to, you know, if anybody want to reach out to me or however, you know, I'd love to be able to, you know, talk to you guys, because it's really tough right now. Finding good brothers and sisters in Christ that you can kind of share your thoughts with and have a peaceful conversation with, because a lot of things are, you know, kind of going in a direction that's totally different than, you know, even I expected. So, you know, at this particular point, let's just stay mindful and stay prayerful. The Bible tells us to watch and pray always, so that's what we need to do. All right, so I guess I'll talk to you guys another time.